Hello. One of the kind of key things that we are trying to really achieve in Colchester and Ipswich museums is looking at representation. So, kind of one of the worst things that can happen really is if you go into a museum and you don't see yourself represented in those displays. Now, we know that Colchester as a town is incredibly diverse, and Essex has lots of diversity across it. And so, we're working to try and improve the representation we have in both our permanent displays and our temporary displays, and in terms of the things we provide within the museum engaging with our collections. So in terms of the temporary displays, this started quite a few years ago. We've been working at this long before I even was working in Colchester museums, but trying to look at the different types of people that are represented, and that started with an exhibition I did a few years ago called We Are Colchester, and the premise for that was looking at a single object and how an object can tell a person's identity. That can include a whole range of different characteristics. Um, we also had And What Came of It, which was our exhibition in Holly Trees last year, which was using the focus of a handkerchief and women's rights in the 1800s and how that has changed in the following 100 years. Um, Last year, we had our first major exhibition in a long time, Adorn, which was looking at mainly jewelry, but in the ways in which people adorn themselves in different ways. So we also included tattoos and piercings and various other things. And we wanted to ensure that the people of Colchester today were included in that. And not just that, but we wanted to ensure the diversity that exists in Colchester was represented in the people that we decided to showcase. Um, Currently, we have a display of Bannerups in Colchester Castle. Colchester Castle is the only venue that we have open at the moment. And those are looking at the Windrush generation. We hoped to have done this in a slightly bigger scale for Black History Month this year, but unfortunately, due to the current situation, we weren't able to. But we're really glad that we've got some of these Bannerups in the castle, sharing kind of more recent history, in particular relating to kind of Black history, which is something that we appreciate is very underrepresented in our museums. And this is kind of leading into the more permanent changes that we're looking at. So I myself have developed some LGBTQ plus tours of Colchester Castle. We're hoping to develop some Black history tours coming up in the future. But looking at stories, we're kind of calling them hidden histories, things that aren't actually currently visible very clearly to our normal visitors. We're also running a series of talks, digital talks, starting next month, starting next week. Next Wednesday is the first one, looking at how museums have been decolonizing and democratizing their collections and their museums. So we're kind of hosting this virtually, but we've got Science Museum, Manchester Museum, quite a few museums across the country taking part. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask about some of the things we're doing, I'm here, or you can contact me